Hi everybody, it's Alan here. I'm just going to run through some vinyl finds from the last few weeks, here and there. Let's just get on with it. Found this the other day, £1. This is a Dutch progressive rock LP from 1973, The Mountain Queen by Al Quinn. Now, it's a terrible cover. When you consider the title, The Mountain Queen, and you consider covers like Novalis, those sorts of amazing progressive rock covers, and you get this. And the back is totally bizarre. A bit of wear here. I mean, now that's more like it. This is an absolutely fantastic progressive rock album. You know, I hadn't heard it. I think I'd seen bits of it. I think Midnight Ryan on Instagram, he'd shown it. Fantastic record. If you like Caravan, from the 1972 era Caravan, progressive rock from that period, this is going to be right up your street. It's just fantastic. You've got two long pieces on here, 13 minutes for the dance on side one, and the title track is 15 minutes. There's a long instrumental passage. There's not very many lyrics, which is probably a good job, because when you read them, they're just a bit banal in places. But anyway, this is a highly recommended progressive rock LP. Anyone who's into prog and has not heard this isn't kind of over the top, all over the place. Let's be show off and twiddly yes style prog. When it's later on it got really overblown. This is kind of grounded, and it's just fantastic. There are just so many good moves on this album, wonderful stuff. I was given this the other day, Stray's third album, Saturday Morning Pictures. Someone had a little bag and said, help yourself. And I got a copy of Paranoid and Beatles stereo anyway. Now, I was expecting to love this. I hadn't really heard this album. The first two I knew, and they're just powerful. Oh, this was disappointing. This is also one of the worst Hypnosis sleeves, I think. I love that kind of there's lots of information down the bottom here. The first track has the great backing singers P.P. Arnold, Lisa Strike, Barry St. John, who are on Dark Side of the Moon and and it's more like Edgar Broughton Band's third album, and some horns and different stuff, different arrangements, a fuller sound, interesting. And I wondered if the whole album was going to be like that, but it reverts back to its stripped back, heavy kind of bluesy rock, apart from one short track which has also got the same kind of flourishes on. But the tracks just are not interesting, there's nothing which engages, or you don't think after you've heard it, I really want to hear that again. And normally at these times the last track would be something to build up to, and you read the title and you think Queen of the Sea, okay, that sounds promising. No, it was just a really naff tune. It's just weak, really weak, and 6 minutes longer. But anyway, there's some great guitar work on here, but it's kind of lost amongst really average songwriting. I mean, below average. I picked this up, let's go for it. ES, Wham Bang. Quite an interesting cover. You've got a railway carriage with the ocean outside. It's Hamburg, London, New York, San Francisco. They're a German band, in 1979, a fusion band. I forget which really famous band some of these guys were in before, heavy prog stuff. This is kind of a mix between fusion and progressive rock. There's some great stuff on here. Now they are a trio, but there's loads of other instruments added, different players, and the guitar is in particular is quite, you know, really leaps out at you. There are a couple of weak tracks. Most of it is instrumental. There's a couple of weaker songs on here. You know, the lyrics again, so just I don't want to hear it. Just cheesy stuff about women and whatnot. But instrumentally, there's some wonderful pieces. The last track in particular, Earth and Space, is a great track. Dream is a lovely sort of floating, ethereal number. Interesting stuff. I only picked it up because I saw it in a charity shop for £1.50, and I sort of looked at it, hummed and hard, put it back. In future, I'm just going to buy everything because actually, I'm really glad I got this. There's some really nice stuff on here. Just a couple of weaker moments. Isn't that true for a lot of albums? At the same time, for £1.75, this was the same person who collected it, because a little bit of sellotape around here. So I don't know, trying to keep their records in, or so their kids can't touch it, I don't know. 1979, of course. I've had this album for a long time, 20, 30 years, but I've never had the one in this original sleeve. I always had the colourful one with a, you know, shot from above. So, you know, nice to find that. Now then, this is the Cohelmic Ensemble. Hippo, Tigress, Zebra, Zebra. This has been a re-release on the Souffle Continue record label. This is avant-garde experimental jazz. Here's a band, or an incarnation of a band. Fantastic stuff. This is really fantastic. Intense, European. It's kind of, they're using improvisation and also short rehearsed passages, if you like, but it's got a kind of clinical European kind of feel to it. It's not kind of soulful in any way. It's actually got a lot of keys and vibes and clarinet and stuff on that. The follow-up album, Next, unfortunately has exactly the same booklet. It's a completely different kind of sound. It's similar in some ways because it's the same instrument, same musicians to some degree. But what happened was the main keys player left and they replaced him with a guitarist, who unfortunately died a couple of years later. I'm not sure how, I can't really find out the information. There he is. But, you know, as you expect with this kind of playing, it's technical, and in some places quite demanding, because you're expecting something to happen and it doesn't, and it suddenly shifts and changes. And not in a kind of unexpected way at all. It's got a completely different feel to a lot of other records I've ever heard. Both of them have, actually. It's a definite European. It's almost like modern classical in places. It's got that kind of vibe to it. There's a mix of styles here. You can tell these people have probably, you know, listened to Stockhouse and listened to these kind of acts, artists and composers and acts. Really kind of just different. You know, when I first heard these, I thought, wow, these are fantastic. When I heard parts of the albums. When I heard the whole album, it kind of is harder to engage with, and they take some time because they've got these unusual elements, and there's not a soulful feel to this stuff at all. It's like a cerebral music, you know, but it's not to say you don't feel it. It's a really unusual thing. But I highly recommend seeking these out. I actually did a third album, a live double. Interesting records. I haven't really got long here. This is just a 12-inch, the very first single released by Test Department, Compulsion, and from 1983. Not something you see every day. This was amongst the boxes like Max Bygraves and stuff. That is heavy. I actually saw them live, supporting Faust, and in some ways they blew Faust off the stage. They were far more intense and I know it's shocking to say, but they really were. They were just, and the industrial stuff, they were clanging steel and all sorts. I mean, it was noise, but that was a really intense feel. Whereas when Faust came on, they were far more, I don't know, it's more measured and it was kind of hollow sounding. Anyway, I'm kind of racing through these. A couple of exceptional finds were these old 78s. Now this has never been sold on, it's not on Pub Psych or anything, you can't see it on Discogs. It's the Charlie Parker Quartet, I Hear Music, which is a track, and Laird Baird, which are tracks from his first 10-inch release. You can see originally on Clef, but these are UK Columbia pressing. Really amazing to find. Equally there's a Lester Swings, Lester Young Quartet, John Lewis, Gene Ramsey, Joe Jones. And these two, I mean, never see this. The Red Norvo Trio, there's two of them. Night and Day and Cheek to Cheek, 30s stuff. And Zing Wet the Strings of My Heart and Move. What's interesting about these are the quartet is a vibes player, Red Norvo, Tal Farlow on guitar, and Charlie Mingus on bass. I do see jazz 78 sometimes, but they tend to be sort of swing time or big band or 20s stuff reissued or something. But to see a Charlie Mingus and Charlie Parker, Lester Young on 78. Thank you, yes, I'm having those. I'm going to show a few, I've got other bits and bobs, but you can see Hydravion there, fantastic album. Like Helden, but not as good. Well, some of it is fantastic and can sit alongside Helden's albums all day long, but they're just long instrumental keyboard passages. The keyboard player is the main guy in that band, and it shows. There's like a 5-minute intro to one of the tracks. It's just him playing the organ, and you're like, come on. And when the band kick in, it's like, this is what I want to be hearing. So it's like some wonderful, wonderful heavy stuff on that, and some incredible music, but just a couple of periods where like, oh, get on with it. Anyway, just a few singles. This is Splodginess, a band, Simon Templar, with a wonderful B-side, Michael Booth's Talking Bum, and 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps, please. Timeless. Secret Affair, Sound of Confusion, Take It or Leave It. Not great, not their best. This is perhaps a bit better. This is Secret Affair as well, on I Spy Records. Time for Action and Soho Strut. And this is something I've never seen before. A Human League Only After Dark. With a long version of it, if you're into electronic music, a long version of Toyota City from Travelogue, I believe it was from Travelogue. And it's brilliant. That is a fantastic electronic piece, instrumental. But apparently this came free with another single, and why is the name escaping me? Right at the end of the video, managed to get through it, knackered as always, and I forget. Yeah, came with another one, came with another single. That's why I've never seen it. This is actually no, not German. It was released in Germany in this format, but not in this country. Anyway, there's other bits and bobs. I've got a few seconds left. I'll have to leave them. That's it. We got there in the end. I'll see you later.